Hi, everyone. Guess who's with me? Mel.
Hey,
Mel.
hey, darling. Love, love, love.
I get to see you in person
Yeah.
next month.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Me
You know
too.
what I was thinking? Wait, I was thinking this is March. I'm thinking, what next month? It is next month. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Time-
April. Yeah.
That's exciting.
I know. The cool thing is you go up there, everything's taken care of.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
You don't have to do a thing.
So also I want to let you guys know that we did get a couple of cancellations. And a lot of the people who were on the wait list said, oh, because it's awfully close. Because basically, when it gets this close, we say, we got to sell your tickets to give you the money back. But I've given everybody their money back. And so now we're going to open up a couple more rooms, you guys. So I'll put the link in this. I'll put the link.
Okay. Yeah, everybody come. We're going to have a great time.
Yeah.
And we got the one in September, right?
And it's our first time at Catskills.
In New York.
In New York City. A lot of people from Sedona canceled and wanted to go because it's closer.
Right, exactly.
It always works out.
Well, I'm looking forward to both. And then we're going to be doing something in Chicago too, Linda and I. I don't know if it'll be this year or next, but I found a venue. So place where we can
It might be next year with my schedule. And next year I'm not reading anymore. So I have a lot more free time.
I think it'll be better next year because I think 2 in 1 year, but then next year people will look forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So also you made 15,000.
Yes, I did. Yay. Thanks to you. I owe everything to you. You're the one that encouraged me. And
nobody owes me nothing.
well,
except maybe a pastrami sandwich.
Maybe some nice shrimp with some nice shrimp cocktail.
Oh, yes, yes. So
Anyway.
you were gonna give free readings.
Yes, I've got the 3 free, that's hard to say, 3 free winners. And I'll give their names is Dottie, Beucher, I think it's Boycher, Donna Woodford, and there's one Beautiful Dreamer.
I like that name.
So I do too. Beautiful Dreamer, Donna Woodford, and Dottie Boycher. They can call my office at 847-590-5411. And we'll set up reading.
Okay.
And when I get to 16,000, I'll do another 3 free.
There you go. There you go. When I stop reading next year, I'll be able to do some more, even more free readings.
Yep. Yeah, I know. It gets kind of busy and, it's like.
It's hard to put them in.
I have got a couple cancellations on my trip going to Croatia, July the 20th. And a lot of people are wondering about the war. Well, Croatia is 4 or 5 countries away, so it's not going to extend into Croatia. I mean, it's very, very safe. Okay. So if anybody wants to go, now the airfare was buy one, get one free. Now you have to pay full air, but the Mayflower of the company will and so they'll pay it, but they'll book the air. I mean,
okay.
So if you'd like to go, I've got room for about 4 or 5 people. Call my office, 847-590-5411.
Okay.
All the info.
All right. So describe what it is a little bit. You going on a boat, a river cruise or something?
Well, the first day we fly all night. So, the second day you can count, but you're jet lagged when you get there. So the second day, I don't know how they'll route it. We'll stop somewhere, maybe in Zurich or maybe in Frankfurt or Munich. And then we'll fly from there to Dubrovnik. We'll check in the hotel in Dubrovnik. And then the next morning, we'll take a coach down to the country of Montenegro. And so we'll tour Kotor and somewhere else, Pirest, I think, in Montenegro. And we'll be able to have lunch and dinner when we're there. It'll be so cool. And then we coach back to Dubrovnik and we go back to the hotel and we just hang out that night. There's a great bar. It's like a cave. It's a real cave, actually. And so we can go there. And then the following morning, we have a tour of Dubrovnik. That's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And after that, we get on the yacht. And the yacht only holds 31 people. And so, not including crew, because there's a crew of 6 or 8, I think. And then we go up the Croatian coast. So we'll go to Slano, Miljet, I think, Korčula, Hvar, Pučišća, and just make little stops along the Dalmatian islands. And
Right.
we'll stop in Kirka National Forest, Troger, Split, Skraden, and then we fly home. But a lot of those places are UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and those are so amazing. And Croatia's beautiful.
Is it
So,
beautiful?
oh,
Someday over
people
there.
would tell me to go to Croatia. I'd be like, for what?
You're right.
And when I went, it's amazing. Like, for example, and it's hard to say, Pučišća or Pučis, I have a hard time saying it. Pučišća, I think. Pučišća. Anyway, that's where they have the limestone quarries. And all the stones are quarried and they're all carved by hand. They don't use any modern tools at all, like no power tools.
Wow.
And so most of the stones you see in the streets and in the buildings were all hand carved and all over Croatia. And even here, some of the stuff is in the White House that comes from there. So it's
Wow.
pretty amazing. Yeah. We'll see Diocletian's palace in Split. That's 2,000 years old, built by the Roman Emperor Diocletian. And when you touch that stuff, it's like, wow.
So so this is more like of a tourist thing than it is a psychic adventure.
Well, it's a psychic adventure because I do little, I kind of do little mini readings on the yacht. And we have little seminars, like a half an hour, 45 minutes, little homework assignments. So, but the biggest thing is transformational. I call it a psychic adventure tour because, when we're on the way, people are uptight, they're nervous. But by the time we get home, everybody's laughing. They've cleared away all their anxieties. And it's just so transformational.
From Chicago, how long is your flight there?
From Chicago to wherever they're going to route it, usually is about 8 or 9 hours. And then probably if we're going to go from Zurich to Dubrovnik, that'll probably be another couple-hour flight.
Yeah, it's a whole day of flying.
It's a whole day of flying, but you get there and I tell people, don't go to bed right away. You wait till that evening and go to bed, because otherwise you'll wake up in the middle of the night thinking it's supper time.
Yeah.
And so, it's a lot of travel, but it's still fun. I mean, the next day everybody's raring to go, and you're in the Adriatic.
Yeah.
And the Adriatic is so beautiful, and probably, time permitting, and we'll do it. They'll anchor the yacht in the Adriatic, and we swim off the back of the boat, and it's really cool.
That's great. That's great.
Yep. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. So you have questions and I have questions.
Yes, we do. Now that we're done with the infomercials.
So these voting restriction laws, what are you seeing for the outcome with that? Will they be taken down as America gets more free and away from all these cray-crays?
Well, I think everybody's got to get out and vote in some of those states where they have those voter restriction laws. And God knows what this Supreme Court would do, but I keep seeing more justices that are more moderate on the court. So ultimately, it'll go to a more moderate court and they'll strike down those voter restriction laws, just not right now. Okay. But it will happen. I mean, those voter restriction laws ultimately will not hold up because you can't restrict people's rights to vote. Of course, with this Supreme Court, who knows, but.
So this young woman in Texas that was charged with murder and then the DA refused to do anything about it for self-abortion, they say. How do you know it wasn't a natural abortion? Anyway, the hospital reported her.
That's horrible.
So, but it is in Texas. And I think there'll be more of this where they refuse to file charges.
Many, many years ago in Bowling Green, Kentucky, this is back in the 70s when I was a college student, it was all over the papers. There was a young woman and she gave herself an abortion and she got an infection and the baby obviously died, and they held her on trial for murder. And she got a really good attorney, or one, I think, defended her pro bono. And she had to go to trial and everything, but she was acquitted. And that's like 50 years ago. And
before I'm like, Roe versus Wade?
I probably think so.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are we going back in time?
Yeah.
It's frightening.
I had a midwife from the UK that saw a lot of death with people self-aborting.
Oh, yeah, it was horrible. And I'm so glad that the DA in Texas decided not to prosecute it. It's just, those laws are draconian. You know, and as you and I had said earlier, it might appear as if they had tried to overturn Roe v. Wade, but ultimately that won't be successful either, because with the new, more moderate court, I see some of those cases coming back to the Supreme Court, and a lot of Roe v. Wade would be reinstated.
Okay, now what do you think about Justice Thomas? Are you feeling him exiting stage left?
I see him off the court. I think he's probably trying to hang on to the midterms, because Lindsey Graham and I think Mitch McConnell has also said, I think it was Lindsey Graham, that if the Republicans take back over the House and or the Senate, that they would never bring a nomination to the Senate floor for a Supreme Court justice unless they were more moderate. And I don't see how they could hold up a nomination for 2.5 years.
Right.
They might try, but so I see Clarence Thomas gone, but I think he's trying to hang on to the midterms.
Well, I know he wants to hang on because he doesn't want anyone taking his place that isn't like him.
Correct. And what they did to Ketanji Brown, when I saw the repubes questioning her, that was a real show. It was horrible what they did to her.
And
you know,
but by the grace of God, she kept her grace going.
She really did. You know, Kavanaugh lost it. He went, he went.
Oh, he said it was a Hillary Clinton conspiracy. And I thought those words alone should have kicked him off being
correct.
A justice.
But I do see a more moderate court. So, and we'll see it. You know, I keep seeing that Biden's going to get to replace 2 or 3 justices. So let's just hope.
Number one.
Let's just hope we keep the Senate in the midterms, because I know, but typically, you know, people are getting nervous because typically the midterms are like a bellwether. It's like a report card on the current president. And, you know, I think Biden's numbers are low because people don't like the supply chain shortage and the inflation.
Right. But a lot of people agree with him. But the thing is, okay, so who would take Biden's place that's a Republican? There's not a Republican out there saying what they would do for the world. That's why I wrote President Biden a letter. I said, what you need to do is ask the Republicans what they're going to do besides get rid of Medicare and Social Security.
That's correct.
Ask them so how would you do this different?
Well,
your last president called this virus a Democratic hoax.
I know.
So, you know, they're blaming him about this virus coming back. Well, it's just how it goes.
But yet the last president was the first one to stand in line to get his vaccine.
I know.
So, you know, I think the Democrats need to come up with a good strategy, but my guides keep showing me, like before the midterms, it might be a month before, but right before, there's another stimulus check or package coming.
That's what I wanted to ask you, because I always said he's going to cut another check.
I see it.
There's another check coming because, you know, that's what got him in last time.
Correct.
Vote for me, and I'm going to take care of this virus, and I'm going to cut you another check.
Right.
And they're really going to take off on the oil people too.
And I also see, you know, some legislation going through to help stop price gouging, because a lot of these inflationary prices we're paying is typically because the gas companies, they're not regulated about price gouging, and that's what they're doing. They're making record profits.
And, you know, a lot of even the things that you buy at the store, they'll up the price claiming that it's because of the shortage, but they never take the price down even.
Correct. I mean, and it's getting out of hand, but I do see prices coming down because I see legislation enacted. And so,
yeah. So that's good news. That's good news, my friend.
Yes.
What else do you see? You got some questions there.
Anna Macedo, I think, asked, why did Elon back off from being on the board of Twitter? I didn't know he did until I read that question.
This morning they announced it. Apparently, some attorneys for Twitter were telling him, because he was announcing things on Twitter, like 3 cents for getting the blue check and all this stuff. And it's like, you're creating too much chaos. We're gonna have to ask you to stand down. And then he said, I'm not even gonna deal with it.
Well, he only owned 9% of the stocks.
I
so-
know, but he thought he could listen, this was about him plugging his shit. Sorry,
Of course it was.
it was about him plugging his stuff.
It really was. It absolutely was. And
Yeah.
so people were
It wasn't
worried.
about getting Trump back on there either. People are saying that left and right. I don't think he has any respect for Trump.
People were worried about that, but I'm like, that's not going to happen.
He's not even the least bit concerned about Trump.
Trump is banned for life. Elon Musk is out for Elon Musk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was about, his space projects and stuff like that. Yeah.
Correct. So-
He's a kid. He's Asperger's. He's a kid in a candy store with too much money.
Exactly.
Buy.
Yeah, I, when they said he was on the board of going on the board of directors, I thought, well, my guide showed me it wouldn't last long. I didn't think it'd be this soon, but here we are.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on, my phone keeps.
I just feel it was attorneys that were telling him, you can't do that. And he just said, F you, I'm out of here. They're saying, did he back out because he plans to just take over Twitter? Or is he just going to hold that 9%?
I don't think he's got enough money to take over Twitter.
Okay.
Why would he? He's got so much invested in everything else. I mean, 9%, doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a nice chunk of change.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's got enough. I don't think he's going to invest his whole wealth in taking over Twitter.
Well, this morning, the stock market, let's see what it's at now, was dropping. And a lot of it was dropping because on Twitter.
Correct.
Twitter was losing money this morning.
Yeah, but it'll come back up.
Let's see. Yeah, it's down 263 points.
Yeah, but that's nothing. It'll come back up. My guides are telling me that right before the midterms, the stock market will have a rally. And
Yeah, we're still at 34, 458. That's pretty high.
Right, that's right. And a lot of stuff that's going on now gets blamed on Biden, but a lot of this is a carryover from the Trump administration.
Right.
Okay. I love this name. Every time I see this, Sweetie Darling Lulu.
I love that name.
Okay. Hey, Mel and Linda, she says. Have we USA/NATO let Zelensky or Ukrainian people down? It sure feels like it.
I know.
I don't think we have because
We're not getting the stuff to them fast enough. Let me tell you. Some general was talking today on the news and he said, we keep telling them yes, but we're not moving fast enough, really. They need the stuff that we promised. So I see Biden loves this Zelensky. I see he really wants to do right for him. But the military can be slow.
Well, there's a lot of stuff now, I think, going through Slovakia that because they border, I think, Ukraine, a little piece of them does. And so
are anybody on the border there kind of helping themselves?
What do you mean?
Like putting their hands in the cookie jar and taking out a little something for themselves or selling it on the black market?
I don't think so, because when we're talking about arms and things like that, I don't see that. But some of this, like maybe some of the supplies that are coming from here, I'm sure some of them are being rerouted to the black market for Putin and Russia. But I think the biggest part of it they're really going to help the Ukrainian people.
Okay, because Andre was saying this morning that and one guy was killed and he had a iPad in his jacket. They're stealing everybody's iPad because apparently over there in Russia, a lot of people can't afford it.
Yeah, but you don't know if that was a Ukrainian or a Russian soldier. It was probably a Russian soldier.
It was a Russian soldier.
That's my point. The Russians will be the one plundering.
Yeah, they're plundering like crazy and selling things.
Exactly. On the black market.
That's why Putin is not going to be successful, because the minions and the ants he's bringing in, he can buy whatever he wants. They're not appropriately trained.
Right.
They went in there ass backwards and didn't realize what kind of thing they were getting into.
Well, now he brought in this new general, and that was the general that really wanted to annihilate Serbia, and people are nervous about him. But my guide showed me that general at some point gone. And he might try to annihilate Ukraine, but the more that they bomb and the more they kill innocent people in this
And did
genocide.
you hear they're saying tens of thousands died in that, what is it, starts with an M, Mo?
Yeah, I can't think of the name of the
Yeah.
city. But that's just going to make the Ukrainian people that much more angry
Yeah.
and that much more willing to fight.
Yeah, well, and here's the other thing. I don't see Zelensky going down,
I don't either.
but
I
if
never-
they take him as prisoner, if anything happens to that man, it will be like fighting for a saint. People will be furious.
I see at least them getting some airplanes, and I see them getting a lot more sophisticated weapons.
Right.
And it'll be going through the back door to the Ukrainians from here.
Right.
So, it's funny that these younger men that they're in the Ukrainian army, I just saw a thing, they were, in peacetime, they had these drones and they're flying the drones and they knew video games. And that's what they're using to defeat the Russians, because they know their modern technology. And now they've taken that, they're using drones to find out where the Russian tanks are, where the Russian troops are. And so, those little things, what we call them drones or whatever, you can buy them. Yeah. And so they're really good at it.
Well, America has some of the best intel, I'm telling you. And I was surprised we hadn't heard of a major blackout or the Russians had gotten into something or other in the banking system. Oh,
Right.
they tried.
They
They had tried, because I was saying, yeah, I expect it, because I felt them trying to do it. They tried and we were able to cut them off at the pass.
Because ours was a little bit, we finally got wise and started putting money into it. And, I think they're going to try to influence the midterms, of course, in the presidential elections, but there's going to be a lot coming to the surface, some big scandals unearthed about Russian interference. We ain't seen nothing yet with what's
Right.
going to come to surface
So
about that.
I see Macron winning in France.
Macron, so do I.
Yeah.
I had
I
a
see
question
that
about-
woman, Pepe Le Pew, whatever her name is.
like Le Pen or Le Pen, or however you
I
say
call
it.
her Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah,
I
Le-
don't see her winning because she's on the phone all the time with Putin.
oh yeah, of
Well,
course.
the first thing she would do is pull France out of NATO.
I mean, she's a far right fascist. And that's what Putin's trying to do. He tried to weaken NATO through Donald Trump. He almost succeeded. And then a lot of those other countries at NATO, he's trying to influence the elections there with candidates that don't like NATO and would try to pull those countries out so he can take over. But he will not succeed.
No. And God bless our ability to stop this type of interference in our systems. They're really putting firewalls up. That guy that went out and said 2020 was one of the best, most safe, he was a Republican. And he was the intel for Washington. And he said it's one of the safest. We got the wind blowing here, my friend, and rain. It's just storming over here.
Wow.
It's one of the safest votings we've ever had. And Trump fired him.
Oh, I know that guy. Yeah, absolutely. Trump did fire him. You're right. There's a comment here about Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she just made a comment about
Another one.
Oh yeah, the Democratic Party is a party of pedophiles and blah 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 blah.
Why are they so anxious about that? She called Susan Collins, Mitt Romney, and Murkowski. They're pedophiles because they voted for Jackson Brown.
Well, Marjorie, what about your friend Matt Gaetz? You're pointing fingers at the Democrats. What about the repubes that are guilty of that with their cocaine parties? And that guy that came out and told
That
the
was
truth.
the truth.
That was the truth. But how about Matt Gaetz, who had sex, who's under investigation for having sex with a minor?
Yeah.
Hello? But she
He
doesn't.
thought he was top notch. He thought he was big man on campus.
Oh, he thinks he's all that in a piece of toast. But guess what? He's going to fall. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, at some point.
Oh, by the way, Andre, he doesn't have the exact time, but it doesn't matter. Apparently, with her chart, it looks horrible.
Well, I just saw this symbol of somebody putting duct tape across her mouth. like
Okay.
shutting her up.
Yeah, but I don't see her being able to still run. I feel like she's been part of this fraudulent, insurrection. Somebody told where to get the panic button out of that desk. Somebody told people, like that one guy that helped Biden become president. What's his name? He's a great man. He said he has an office with his name on it, but there's another office, a private office he uses more often than not. Those people coming in went straight to the private office with no name on the door.
Well, it's going to come out. Somebody's going to spill the beans about the people in the house. And I won't point any fingers, but MTG, I think, behind closed doors was telling people things and where to go.
Right.
And so it's going to come out.
A lot of stuff. And let me tell you something, when the president was speaking at that address that he gave, and her and Lauren Boebert were yelling and had their phone out and turned their back on him and creating chaos like a couple of high school people. You should have seen the look on the other Republicans there. They weren't having it. They were looking down. They were ashamed.
Well, somebody should have said something or told them to shut
No,
their
they're
mouth.
too chicken to say something too.
Exactly.
See, they'll be after that person that said something.
Well, so, they'll find out who told people where those buttons were in those rooms.
I think they already know. I
When-
think, when do you think we're going to have the big primetime television thing that's going to talk stuff? Is that June or July? When are we going to have that?
I think probably more like July.
Okay, because I can't listen. I know we're going to do May at Sedona, but God forbid it was in May. I could tape it. I could tape everything on here.
But
But-
it's all going to come out. And so I see Marjorie Taylor Greene gone. I see Lauren Boebert gone. And I think with all of these text messages and stuff coming out about Trump, that I finally see that I think they've called in a special lawyer or something to investigate Trump. And I see that going over to the DOJ, and I see him indicted as well. I always have.
Well, and also James, what's her name? The one from New York, she's not going to let him get away from it. And that other guy got so much pressure after he said this was a nothing burger. Now he has to come back on and say, well, we actually have something here.
Correct. That's correct. Bragg. And I don't see Bragg around long either.
I don't either.
But it's funny that I think with the DOJ, they criticized Merrick Garland, but my guides keep telling me behind closed doors, he's talking and he's writing stuff, Merrick Garland, that is. And, something just came out that I forgot what it was, but the DOJ did a good job of keeping it a secret. And I think that's what's going on now. They're not playing their ace in the hole. Merrick Garland, I think, is already investigating Trump and a lot of those people for that January 6th insurrection.
Right. Well, he already has a grand jury and everything.
Correct. And they
But
and
also, this FBI was corrupted. And he went in there with a bunch of sharks in the water, and they were going to have to filter out the sharks. And so what the hell's going on with the Secret Service with those two guys, those Pakistani guys that were giving them rooms and all that? I think this was something they were trying to build up confidence to get them to do something.
they absolutely were. And that'll come out as well.
That'll come out. Because where did they get their money? They got their money from Pakistan.
I remember I told you on your show or mine, I can't remember, but that, Ruth Bader Ginsburg in a dream showed me this hand. It was like this chocolate drippy hand. And it was like touching every part of America, every institution in America. And then there was this little light. It was a tiny little white light, and it kept growing bigger. Then it got darker and it kept pulsating. And it would get big, and then this dark hand would push it back. And finally the light got big enough and it took over that ugly darkness. And so that's Ruth Bader Ginsburg letting me know that even though Trump's touched every institution in this country, tainted every institution in this country, it's all going to come out. The light's all going to shine on all of that.
Well, listen, if it was up to him, remember, as soon as he went in office, makeup.
I like your lipstick, by the way.
As soon as he went in office, he started getting rid of sanctions
Right,
on
exactly.
the Russians. And Congress stopped him in midstream, like, whoa, 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 you can't do that.
That's right.
He wanted that back door. They probably still had the back door. Oh, Jared was all happy, In fact, I just read an article that Jared opened up this new company and got the Saudi Arabia to finance it, some $56 billion company Saudi Arabia has. And they didn't like it. They were like, the books don't end up right. There's something wrong with this. And the king overrode them, said, give him the money.
I just had a flash, one of
What?
those flashes while you were talking.
What?
And I was thinking of Liz Cheney, because she was the one saying that there was some indictable stuff they could have on Trump. Well, the Republicans party, well, in her state, they might nominate her. I doubt it, but I see her running as an independent.
Really?
Yep.
Like Murkowski got kicked out, and then she ran as did she run as an independent? No, she's a Republican.
Right.
But she still won. They wrote her in.
That's what I think. And I think she's going to run as an independent. She's going to win.
Okay.
So
Well, that's a good flash.
they're not done with her yet.
Okay.
I mean, she's not done with them yet.
Right.
They awaken to sleep. I don't like Liz Cheney's politics. I didn't agree.
No, and she always goes against us for everything else, just Trump. For some reason, she's got this thing against Trump, which is good.
Well, if you're Trump's enemy, I guess you're my friend. Is that the way it works?
It's really
Okay.
sad.
Somebody
But do you think they'll come up with charges from the January 6th? I never saw him going to jail. I'm sorry to tell everybody.
I don't see him going to
I never
jail.
saw him going, but I do see him being stripped of his money. I think New York might be more the thing that's going to ruin him. And I also think his daughter said some things that didn't work for him.
She did. And so did Jared Kushner. But, his empire will crumble.
Yeah.
I also see, January 6th with these text messages and how they went to Mark Meadows and all of that stuff. I see those getting referred over to the DOJ for investigation and prosecution, and also grand jury.
Right.
So he's gonna, my guys kept showing me he's gonna be under indictment for a lot of things, state of New York. And you're right, that'll bring his empire down, but for other things as well, federally. But maybe what you're seeing is at some point a future president, if another Republican gets in, they might pardon the federal stuff, but they can't pardon the state stuff. They
Right.
can't.
Exactly.
So, but I don't see Trump in jail.
Well, I don't see him alive.
No, nor do I.
And he even said the other day to somebody was interviewing him, that he wasn't sure if his health was good enough to run in 2024. Interesting, he said that.
Well, at least he admitted to something.
Yeah.
After that goofy doctor he had, he's so healthy. Oh my God.
And then that guy ended up being a senator or a congressman or something.
That's
A
frightening.
whack job.
That's frightening.
Ooh, the wind is blowing, my trees are sideways.
Uh-oh.
Holy cow.
Kathy Williamson wants to know. She says, enjoy you and Linda very much. Thanks, Kathy. Will Mark Meadows be found guilty in the voter fraud?
Oh, as assisting with the voter fraud? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think Mr. Lindsey Graham has very good cards either, as far as his interfering with Georgia.
Lindsey Graham needs to shut his mouth, because what he did to Ghislaine Maxwell, are you a Catholic? Are you religious? Are you this? Are you that? I'm like, and then he stormed out. Oh my God. But I see a probe into Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna be pretty.
Listen, when the tower starts to fall, and I've said this when I first started this channel, it's going to be like rats jumping ship.
Exactly.
It's going to totally affect the Republican Party. The Republican Party will come back better. But no thanks to these people. But they're going to have to rebuild from the bottom up.
Well, I asked what would happen with the Republican Party. I pulled a card. Illusion, delusion, confusion. That's what that card means.
Well, that's what I felt about Mitch McConnell. I felt like when everybody's saying, oh, when we take over, and I felt that feeling like when what was that guy that died? He was a good Republican. He was POW.
John McCain?
When John McCain walked in there and they thought they had it in the bag to get rid of Obamacare. And Pence started walking through the door, to give the vote to help overthrow Obamacare. And McCain was biting at the bit. And they were all gathered around, and here comes McCain. And he looked at the girl and he goes like that. Negative. And you could hear the gasping in the Democrats were like, holy, because they really thought this is it. We're going to lose Obamacare. And he went like that. Because he said, no, you're not going to get rid of this and with nothing else in place.
That's right.
And so when he did that, there was gasping. That's the energy I got about McConnell. Like, yeah, we got this. This is in the, and I felt like he's not going to win. Like I saw the thumbs down.
He won't. He's pretty much done too.
Yeah.
And then I asked with what you were saying, and look what I pulled the tower.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, and what what else we're going to do? If when we take over, we're going to start doing something. What were they going to do to Biden? We're going to get rid of him. We're going to file charges against him.
Him. Yeah. Mitch McConnell's he thinks he's good at backpedaling, but he was all for Ketanji Brown, but all of a sudden he's like, well, I can't vote for her because some BS excuse,
Oh, everybody said she's a good person, but negative. And basically, they just forgot their hoods when they were describing things about her.
Well, I think people that support her are going to be very active politically.
Yeah. And I also think she'll be an excellent justice.
She'll be an amazing judge.
And she's not going to be too far left.
And I also see a lot more, I don't know if it's legislation, but a lot more rules coming for the Supreme Court.
That's
and at some point, my guides tell me there will be term limits, which I think is a great idea.
That's great. But listen, I got to ask you something.
Yes,
I got this weird flash. It doesn't mean it's going to come true. I just had a feeling, and I'm picking up Roberts, that he's going to say, you know what? I'm out of here. And I don't care if it's a Democrat that replaces me, because he's so frustrated with trying to reel these people in. And they're all like, whatever, especially Thomas. Thomas is not going to recuse himself. I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter because he's going to be outvoted, but he's not going to recuse himself. And I see Justice Roberts really wants the Supreme Court to he wants people to trust him. He wants to have, and it's going straight downhill.
Roberts will be off the court.
That's what I was feeling. I'm almost feeling, as it is, he has epilepsy and he has issues. I don't feel he's leaving because he's sick. I'm feeling more like, you know what? I almost feel like his wife is saying, this is affecting your health. Get the hell out of there.
I mean, when you said that, I've got cold chills on top of cold chills, which means truth. I've always seen him off the court.
Yeah.
And then I asked, and look what I pulled, the world. So, yeah, I don't think he cares. It's like, I don't care.
And in a way, it's sort of thumbs up or, thumbs down to Thomas. Like, okay, you don't want to go by what we should have done to show that we're impartial. I'll tell you what, I'm going to step down now. We're gonna let Biden choose the new justice.
But I'll tell you, I do, however, see, as I said, a lot of rules for the Supreme Court, like they'd have to recuse themselves. And
I see Justice Roberts trying to start that up, but they're working against him. They're not treating him respectfully at all. So what happens is this new person comes in, it says this is how the game's going to be played.
Well, I think at least the moderates, and more the liberal justices are looking for, rules of conduct and guidelines. There's probably people like Kavanaugh and Comey Barrett.
Where did all that money come from, Kavanaugh?
That's right.
And also Amy Coney Barrett said she would not hear anything that her husband had to do with, on the court. And she lied. She still listened to their cases.
That's right. So I think it's going to come up where they're going to have to recuse themselves.
I have to ask you something.
Okay.
I do not see Oz winning. Trump just endorsed him, which pretty much guarantees he won't win. But what do you think of that, Dr. Oz?
It makes me laugh. I find it, ever since with Dr. Oz running and this and that, I refuse to watch him. I refuse anything to do with him. And he's not that great of a doctor anyway.
No, and his cohorts, he tried to start a show talking about things that happened in the hospital he worked out of. And then there was an article in the newspaper that people who worked with him and knew him couldn't stand him and didn't want to have that show filmed in their hospital.
Oh, I understand that he's horrible. When I ask about Dr. Oz, my guide already show me, but I see the 6 of clubs, and the 6 of clubs would mean like a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, disagreeable surprise. So in other words, he's not going to win. I just see it blowing up in his face.
And also, him and his wife registered from a house they don't even live in.
Go figure.
So he's running in a state he doesn't even belong in.
I forgot what he's running for though.
Senator, I think. He's not going to win.
He's not going to win. In fact, I just pulled another card. I got the 5 of spades, which means a total loss. So he's not going to win. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think he's going to lose bigly. Yeah.
Huge. I laughed when I heard about that. I know you're worried about the win. It'll be okay.
No, I just I got a 75-inch TV.
I saw that. It's
huge. And if I glance over, I can get the updated what's going on. And I saw that Oz, and it made me think.
Well, here's what I have. I have my computers, my laptop set up, and we've got a tiny TV here in the kitchen dining room. So I can look over on the butcher block and see the TV. And when I'm talking to you, I can read what it's saying.
But in case there's breaking news. Yeah.
Yeah. It says right now, future of Democratic agenda in Congress uncertain. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I'm not going to worry about it.
You know what? I'm going to say something else, you guys. Paying no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Exactly.
Because the fear basing is what they want. They're going to go on about this. Oh, what are they going to do when the repubes take over? I just don't feel that. I don't feel that.
I don't either.
He starts cutting them checks. And also because of this war, and there's more terrible things that are going to happen.
Oh yeah. I
just see America furious, and the repubes can't present anything. They're not going to do all they're talking about. Oh, we're gonna mess up. We're gonna mess up Biden. We're gonna drag him in for impeachment. Waste of time.
It's not going to happen. I just thought of something else real quick.
What?
My guy showed me something with this whole Marjorie Taylor Greene thing. And in Tennessee, they were trying to pass that law where they could have child brides or something. And I'm thinking she's screaming about pedophiles, but the Republicans in Tennessee are trying to do this new super marriage law where there's no age limit. And it's really kind of an anti-gay thing.
Right.
But, she needs to look at her own party.
Exactly.
And she won't. Okay. So Mary Pena, I'm wondering about the future of, I'm probably mispronouncing, Ghislaine Maxwell. Could you please let us know your interpretation?
It wasn't good for her.
No.
They're not giving her any kind of, she knows it's over with for her. She's just existing right now.
I think they wanted her to flip on people, but behind closed doors,
apparently there's 8 people that they were keeping it quiet about who were the ones she was involved with or talking about. But now I don't think she cares. I really don't.
Well, now she's singing like a bird. That's what I see.
Okay.
And she's actually helping them with their investigation. I don't wish her harm, but I don't see a long life for her either.
Really?
I don't know what it is, but
there's a lot of shows on TV. Like I like to watch Cold Case Files, or there's a lot of shows, and a lot of people that are life sentences will die. It's interesting. It's almost like they make themselves sick.
I just pulled the 10 of clubs. so the 10 of clubs would mean, it would mean illness, it could mean death. I mean, I'm just nervous about her health.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't wish her harm. I don't wish anybody harm.
No.
But I behind closed doors, my feeling is she's telling them what she knows.
Okay.
The authorities anyway. Okay.
So I'm going to have to come off in a minute only because I have because I was sick and had to put everything on hold. I'm doing back to back. I have to do my mediumship group at 11.
Shall we do one more? Or you got
One
another
last one. One last one.
All righty. Oh, this is a good one. Wisdom Heart writes, that's the name, Wisdom Heart writes. Thanks, Mel and Linda. Will there be a no-fly zone over Ukraine soon so Russia can't keep bombing the Ukrainian civilians?
Hey.
I thought that was my dog.
I don't see a no-fly zone, but I see the Ukraine taken out.
So do I.
They're going to have the equipment. I'm telling you, Putin's not going to do nukes. He can threaten it till the cows come home, but he's not going to get away with it. But I see planes being shot out of the sky.
I see him gone. So, all right, I've got to ask you a question for my travelers real quick. And I've told them a million times. I already know what you're going to say, but I'm going to ask it. So you're going to hear from Linda Grindle. People are worried about going to Europe with the war and the Croatia thing. And so, you know, is it safe to go to Croatia?
Yeah.
Good.
Absolutely.
I didn't pay Linda to say that, by the way.
Okay. All right, honey. You take care.
All right, sweetie. Next week, my channel, right?
Your channel.
All right, darling.
Cheers, baby.
All righty. Bye-bye.